Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Chazzy, the segment on this channel where I review the many TV shows that I watch across all eras, you know, whether they're old, new, modern, or classic. I already know that those words are synonyms, they kind of mean the same thing, but I insist on saying it. I do not know why. I have this damn intro memorized at this point, so let's just go with it, okay? Today is going to be my final Star Wars video ever, except for just one short that's going to come, I think, after this one here, you know. So much Star Wars content lately on this channel, and it's been very overwhelming. You know, it's been quite a journey, and today I'm going to finally bring that full circle by reviewing the part 2 to what I did some time ago. You know, the very first one, which was reviewing Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 1. I'm going to leave a link to it up here, you know, in case you missed it. If you haven't seen it yet, maybe go and watch that one and come back and see this one here, because even though they are released maybe like a few weeks apart, they are still interconnected. So today, of course, I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 2, you know, and this is actually going to be not the original series on Cartoon Network, but actually the DVD box set Volume 2. So this actually came out in 2005, and it was, of course, produced and distributed by Lucasfilm and Cartoon Network Studios, you know, so created by Genndy Tartakovsky, you know, the same creator of shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, you know, Samurai Jack. I already talked about that in the other video, but this one here, Volume 2, actually continues to take the story in a much deeper route, you know, because the first time, the first volume, like each episode was like around 3 to 5 minutes long, you know, each, but now the episodes are anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes long, so there's much more story to be told, and there are only 5 episodes, you know, but there is still a lot of content there, and it's really cool how they play around with the character development this time around, because we focus largely on Anakin Skywalker and him becoming he's now a Jedi Knight, and he starts to become much more powerful and revered and admired, you know, but it is Anakin, and we all know what happens to Anakin at one point, you know, so it does start to show us the very early fruitations of the dark side within him, you know, kind of like giving us an eerie foreshadowing as to what's going to come many years later. Now, the series takes place after Attack of the Clones and shows a lot of the star systems slipping away. Go away, you stupid fly. Slipping away from Republic control and going to join the Separatists, you know, led by Count Dooku. We do see Dooku, we see General Grievous, you know, and this one here, Volume 2, picks up literally exactly where Volume 1 left off, you know, where the Jedi finally encounter Grievous, and there are quite a few really cool plot points here and there, you know, and it's actually really nice to see the characters being more fleshed out and giving them actual more dynamic relationships, you know. Certain characters like Mace Windu, for example, does actually get dialogue this time around, you know. Yoda talks a lot more too, so, well, I think Yoda already talked a lot, but you guys get the idea. And it's really cool how the entire Volume 2, all of the episodes, they lead up to something that literally connects perfectly into the very beginning of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, you know, so that's what I like about this series a lot. It still holds up really well today, you know, and both volumes were actually, they actually received critical acclaim and won multiple awards, including a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program for both of them, you know, so, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with how it, these two volumes actually went on to inspire the Clone Wars movie 2008, the CGI movie, which eventually led to another series, you know, so it's just a whole big rabbit hole. But I really do like this original Clone Wars, you know. I think the animation was on point, especially because I loved Cartoon Network at the time, so everything just seems so familiar to me, you know, and looking back on it today, it is very nostalgic, you know. I said before that it was distributed by Lucasfilm and Cartoon Network, but it was actually produced by them. It was actually distributed by Warner Bros. Television, you know. I'm sorry for making that little mistake there, but yeah, I have a little cheat sheet here, but still, a total of 3 seasons and 25 episodes, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 3rd season, which is Volume 2, to bring it full circle. But before that, let's take a look at a clip here from the series.
Prepare aboard!
If you are to succeed in combat against the best of the Jedi, you must have fear, surprise, and intimidation on your side.
The strategy is working perfectly, my lord. The Jedi and their forces are stretched thin across the Outer Rim worlds in a vain attempt to contain our new offensive.
Now, hey, it's been a very long time since I've watched this series along with Volume 1, so I have a cheat sheet here with a little bit of the plot elements, so excuse me, you know, forgive me if I, you know, kind of pull from it. It's because I really don't remember too much, but basically it starts off exactly right as Volume 1 ends. So the Jedi are actually under siege by General Grievous on the planet Hypor, so Obi-Wan goes there with his ARC troopers to save them, you know. They manage to repel the General, but not before he takes a few Jedi lives, you know. They save Ki-Adi Mundi and Aayla Secure and Shock Tier in dire condition, you know. They still live. but we know what happens to them eventually in episode 3. So then, because the Republic is desperate and so is the Jedi Council, they decide to make Anakin a Jedi Knight. So we actually see the night ship scene, you know, where oddly enough, Mace Windu wasn't even present, you know, like no purple lightsaber there, so he probably just didn't give a crap, just like, forget about it, you know. So now it fast forward a little bit to almost the end of the Clone Wars, you know, where Anakin is much more powerful now, you know, like I mentioned before. It actually shows us him getting the battle scar. It doesn't actually show how it happens, but we do see him returning home to Padme with his battle scar, you know, his facial scar here on his eye, you know, and it's really kind of a little mysterious as how he got it. I really wish it would have shown that, you know, but still, he is allowed to use R2-D2. Padme lets him use him as his little astromech droid for his Jedi Interceptor, you know. So then he and Obi-Wan go to destroy his shield generator together in a little campaign. There's a scene where he's even eating bugs and stuff, you know, and then Obi-Wan's like, what is that? He's like, well, Master, you always told me to, you know, feed off the living force. Well, that's not what I meant, you know, but it's a really cool touching scene between them. You know, Anakin eating a bunch of bugs, you know, then they sneak in under the town and, you know, do a sneak attack. It's really cool how it works. Then they escape. It also shows the siege of Kashyyyk, you know, the Wookiee planet. So, you know, other Outer Rim planets as well. It's a whole campaign, you know, that actually shows this. And then eventually Anakin goes to visit Padme on Naboo, but Darth Sidious launches his attack, you know, this and that. A lot of parallel things happening. But there is a very interesting plot point though, you know, aside from all of this, where Obi-Wan and Anakin end up on the planet Nilvan, you know, where they have the Nilvanian, how do I pronounce it? Nilvanian warriors. How do I pronounce it? Nelvan. How do I say the damn thing's name? It doesn't show it. Oh, Nelvan, yes. The Nelvan warriors, you know, they actually end up interrupting, you know, disrupting a rite of passage for one of them when Anakin defeats a giant monster, you know. So then they're taken to the village, you know, and then Anakin actually, through a series of events, we see that Obi-Wan not only connects with them and speaks their language, but also Anakin is going to undergo his actual trials to become a Jedi Knight, because when you're a Jedi Padawan, there are trials for you to face for you to become a Knight, which Anakin bypassed, you know. He was made a Knight haphazardly. So now he actually is given the chance to gain the right of becoming a Knight by going through a very rigorous trial, you know. So it's really interesting how it works, you know, the rite of passage that he has to undergo. However, Coruscant is later attacked by the Separatists, you know, this and that, you know, and then we see Mace Windu and Yoda kicking ass and stuff, where eventually we're gonna see later how that works out. But still, and also Sassy Tin, one of the Jedi, he actually is above the planet, you know, taking the battle into space. We see Anakin enduring the trial by fire, you know. I don't remember what exactly happens, you know, but it was pretty crazy. And actually, we see that he eventually finds out that there is this enemy side called the Techno unit that's actually conducting warriors on conducting experiments on abducted Nalvan warriors. That's why they're all disappearing. There's only women and children left, you know, because all of the male warriors are vanishing. Anakin investigates and he finds them, you know, and he actually helps them all break out, but they've all become deformed and fat, you know. They're huge and bald, and they have contraptions, you know, in places of their arms and appendages. It's really weird. It's actually very freaky, but Anakin does free one of them who's still kind of, you know, like normal. He's still kind of he still retains his mind, you know. So then he starts to destroy all of the mind control devices, you know, to help the warriors regain their brains, you know. And it's crazy because Anakin eventually he actually does something, you know, in the shooter that explodes his mechanical hand that he lost to Count Dooku, but he can still use it, and it actually shows him using the Force with his severed hand, his severed robot hand, you know, using it to use the Force to even crush the windpipe of one of the enemies, you know, which is really crazy, and already shows us the hate festering inside of him, because no Jedi would ever do that. No, he brutally kills one of the characters, so it's really freaking crazy. He does eventually, you know, take them back home. They're reunited with their families, but Anakin has a little bit of a disturbance in the Force. He even has a vision of him becoming Darth Vader, which we see later. Parallelly to this, General Grievous is invading Coruscant, you know, with the Separatists. You know, he tried to kidnap the Chancellor Palpatine, which he manages to do. The Jedi tried to rescue him. They go after him. It's a really cool sequence episode, this last episode, you know. It's actually chapter 25. It's really cool to see the action set pieces, you know. The Jedi chasing Grievous as he takes the Chancellor throughout the city, you know. Explosions, lightsabers, gunfire, droids all over the place. No, it's really freaking crazy. And so yes, the thing with this is that we see Mace Windu talking for the first time, you know, with Yoda, and they find out that everything, the invasion was a distraction. They do eventually, Grievous does eventually manage to kidnap Palpatine. He puts him in his ship, you know, but Mace Windu uses the Force to crush Grievous's rib cage, you know, which actually gives him his who gives him that raspy voice that he had in episode 3 where he's like, what's the situation? That actually was because of Mace Windu, so it was really good. It was really nice because Grievous's original voice was scary, it was really ugly, you know, so it was cool to see this part, you know, and kind of like explain to us why that happened. So yes, he escapes with the Chancellor, and the episode ends with the Jedi mounting their attack, you know, against the Separatist ship. Literally the exact opening to episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, you know, so that's how everything connects. Holy freaking crap, have to take a little bit of a for my cheat sheet here, but it's all good. Let me take a breather while I'll show you guys another clip from the series.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
There were a few attempts to try, that seemed a little redundant. There were attempts at maintaining the continuity within the other Star Wars movies, you know, in the saga up until that point, so everything could make more sense and flow better. Like, for example, what I said about General Grievous, you know, with Mace Windu crushing his little chest plate there with his organs, you know, even though the Clone Wars CGI animated series would later retcon that, but that's beside the point. There was also Anakin himself becoming a knight, you know, C-3PO appearing with his gold plating for the first time that we actually see between episodes 2 and 3. He looks one way in episode 2, then looks different in episode 3, and it kind of showed that, his upgrades. And also when Anakin is anointed knight, he actually sends his braid, his Padawan braid, to Padme, who stores it with the locket that he gave her in the necklace that he gave her back in the Phantom Menace. So there are a few moments that are actually really cool, you know. I really love the way that they produced it, you know, and how they actually introduced General Grievous to make him this really cool evil character, you know, because we had heard about the droid army, the leader, you know, of the Separatists for a while, but we actually didn't know who he was. We already knew who Grievous was because actually I think it's either in this one or in the other one where we see Count Dooku training Grievous. I'm pretty sure it's in this one here, you know. It actually shows him showing his lightsabers and stuff, and how Count Dooku does train him in the ways of the Jedi art, you know, with the lightsaber fight, even though he's more unorthodox because he has 4 arms, you know. Then Dooku gives him a very interesting speech about it, you know, how he shouldn't collect trophies and this and that, but still, very nice scene between master and apprentice there, you know. So it's essentially Grievous, you know, Dooku does pull the strings a lot, and if you know anything about Star Wars lore, you know that Count Dooku actually orchestrated the accident that made Grievous need to become a cyborg in the first place, you know, because he was originally an alien before becoming the droid general. So yes, there's more that I can also say to you guys, you know. Volume 2 shares aspects with the novel Labyrinth of Evil, which was created at the same time, you know, because both of them actually have a similar climax, you know. The Jedi chase Grievous on Coruscant to save Palpatine, you know. There's also a different final duel between Mace and Grievous, you know. So, and Shakti does act as the guardian for the Chancellor, but she does fail anyway, you know. There's more and more in the series. Anakin and Obi-Wan investigate a base before they call back to Coruscant, you know. This book essentially just takes a few, the series kind of switches up a few locations, you know, this and that, and it seems like the Clone Wars series actually was actually the pilot for the Clone Wars animated series that came later, you know, or rather the half-hour CGI of it, you know. So that was pretty okay. The character designer for the latter series actually tried to translate elements from the original cartoon, you know, so, you know, tried to just make it go from 2D to 3D as smoothly as possible, which was pretty okay. So now originally this was going to be a standalone thing that would connect to the movies, and it wasn't going to be connected to the actual 2008 series, you know. But still, later on, Disney, once they bought Lucasfilm, they announced, this is important, that the CGI Clone Wars, you know, was going to be considered canon, but a lot of the other spin-off works would not. So as far as I know, the Clone Wars, you know, the Cartoon Network one, you know, these 2 volumes, they're not considered canon anymore, which is a damn shame. But essentially, there was a lot behind the production, you know, like the Jendy really tried to translate a lot of what he saw as a kid in Star Wars, you know, and tried to develop something that was different, but it hurt him a lot because it was stressful. A lot of the elements were 2D, but some of them were with 3D models, like the spaceships. I think I said this in the first video, you know. So yeah, there was also this, I can actually say, you know, they tried to give C-3PO actual movable eyes, you know, to kind of give him a bit more of an emotional feel. And also the planet Nilvana was actually named for Nilvana, which the production company that produced, you know, no, sorry, was a nod to Nilvana, which was the name of the production company that had produced every single Star Wars animated series, you know. And then in episode 21, chapter 21, there is this thing called a Duloc, you know, which is a species that was introduced in the Ewok series way back in the 80s, you know. Clone Wars was the first Star Wars series ever since the Ewoks, you know, way back in the day. So yes, and And then the banking clan planet of, Moonless was actually designed to look like a dollar bill, but that's beside the point. And also, that is essentially it. I don't really know what else I can say, behind the production, so I think it was pretty okay. Let me go to the voice cast, which is going to be largely the same as the first time. We had Matt Lucas, playing Anakin Skywalker, or rather voicing Anakin Skywalker. Pretty okay, not too bad. Then James Arnold Taylor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was like probably the one character who sounded the most close to his counterpart. There was Tom Kane as Yoda, who also did sound very much like Frank Oz. I gotta give him that. He sounded really much like him. Then we have Terrence just Terrence Carson, as two characters. He actually voiced Mace Windu and also Sassy Tin, who I don't remember had many speaking lines at all to begin with. Then we had, of course, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, like probably the one actor who actually voiced his own character and who actually did the character in the movies coming to voice his character. Corey Burton as two characters, as both Sand-Hill and Count Dooku. And then we have, of course, the famous Grey DeLisle playing pretty much everyone, Asajj Ventress, Padmé Amidala, Shakti, and also Stas Ali. Then we have, of course, Nick Jameson voicing Chancellor Palpatine and also Darth Sidious, who you guys should know at this point is the same damn character. Then we have Andre Sugaloso as a bunch of freaking clone troopers, Richard McGonagallu as General Grievous and also Kit Fitzstew, who I don't even remember talking too much, Fred Tata Sikari as Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan's master, and also Opal Rancisis. Oh my god, then we have Darren Norris as Ki-Adi-Mundi, Dirge, Master Barrick, and Evan Piel, a bunch of characters there as well. Cree Summer as Luminara Undali, and also her apprentice, Barriss Offee, is voiced by Tatiana Yusukovich. Holy freaking crap, that's a mouthful. Then last, and I don't even know if this is least, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kukuruk. That's the character's name, Kukuruk. The hell, man. Let's look at one more clip here because that was terrible. So, what is the final verdict? Where do we stand here on Volume 2? I liked it, it's very nostalgic to me. If I watch it again today, I'm gonna feel that nostalgia, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna have aged very well because it is, an early 2000s cartoon animated series, so now I gave Volume 1 a 7 out of 10, and I thought it was pretty well deserved, and I did anticipate that this one would get a little bit of a higher rating, but it does have a lot of the same flaws, as the first one. The episodes were a little bit longer, but there were many less ones now, only 5, so there was a lot of material, there was a lot of content. I did like it a lot, but still, I felt like certain details could have been a little bit more fleshed out, I did like the character development, but I still felt like it was lacking in certain areas, I think that some of the elements were a bit too rushed, almost like they were trying to get it done quickly, so not too big a fan of how that played out, A lot of the animation did not age very well, you guys are going to take a look at the clips and see that. I just wish that there could have been more details, and there could have been more content that would have connected the movies a lot better, Even there towards the end where it was extremely yada yada, I do enjoy how they tried to explain away Grievous's, voice with Mace Windu crushing him and stuff, But still, I thought that there could have been a lot more that was not explored, that was left on the cutting room floor. But I did like it. I am a Star Wars fan, but it's not perfect, far from it. So I'm going to be giving Volume 2 an 8 out of 10, just one rating above the last one, But I did like it, It's not bad at all, by any stretch of the imagination, Another thing that I don't like is the fact that the voice cast, they did not bring all of the actors to come and do their roles, their voices, But still, very enjoyable anyway. I have no complaints there on that frontier there, But if you've never seen it, you gave yourself a bunch of spoilers, and I am sorry that I had to read so directly from my tablet, my cheat sheet, It's because it's been so long since I've watched it. And I'm tired today, I'm kind of in a rush. I gotta get going soon to go to work, so forgive me if this one didn't come out as good as my other ones. I am trying. I'm gonna take a day to record a bunch of videos and not rush things, so I can at least give you guys the content. This video is going to be, is being recorded, is going to be, well, first it was planned, it was researched, now it's being recorded, and it will be edited and hopefully uploaded on the same day, so it's gonna be a crazy ride. But let me know what you guys think about it, if you've saw it, if you haven't seen it, what your opinions are, because I would love to hear from you, in the comments below. And that's it, guys. If you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too so you can know exactly what time I upload, and it's all good. My last video was Star Wars, playing playing Star Wars Squadrons, with a buddy. And my next one probably will also be, I have to look at the spreadsheet. I think the next one is going to be a short related to Star Wars. It's going to be nice, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. And it's all good, guys. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video, and may the Force be with you all. Roll the outro screen.
This General Grievous is changing the shape of the war.